Shalom Yasharallah, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us his truth and our well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article, a little bit of this here article, but, touch on certain things that they brought out. This is a pretty long article, but nevertheless, as we see things are being shaped up for World War III, one thing that these people don't realize is, hey, man, there's about to be a great slaughter, man, a great bloodbath out here, man. All right. So, hey, nevertheless, a lot of these people that are so-called, patriotic and supporting America and things like that and buying into these narratives of this Russian aggression don't realize they're all about to be sacrificed, man. All right. And they're all going to wind up dying over there in the Middle East, man. All right. In this world, what they call World War III. All right. So let me read a little bit of this. It says the last war. And ultimately, we could technically say it'll be like a World War III and then one other war after that. But that'll be, basically it, because, we know in the midst of World War III, all right, these nations are going to stop fighting each other to fight the Lord. So if you want to count that as another war, and we come and put these people in subjection. But after that, it ain't going to be no more wars, man. All right. But it says the last war, how a U.S.-Russia conflict would play out. All right. And we know how it's going to play out according to the scriptures, man. All right. It says this Russian journalist, it says the showdown between Washington and Moscow will be the worst outcome for both sides, and they know it. Not even that, but it will be for the whole globe itself, all right? Because they have what they call a nuclear winter, all right? Let me read this real quick. It says, hundreds of formidable tanks rolling down hills, thousands of high-caliber guns unleash devastating artillery barrages, apocalyptic nuclear explosions, all right, millions of deaths, all right, and indescribably suffering. That would be how any potential military conflict between the U.S. and Russia would play out. Now, one thing you can do is you can go back and look at documentaries of, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki about those people and the devastation it left those people and just how those people was living, or look at the outcome of Afghanistan and how those people, because, they don't really talk about this a lot, but they was over there using depleted uranium bullet tips. And again, you basically just shoot a round into the wall or some shit like that. And if somebody walked past that shit, you know what I'm saying? They pretty much getting affected by the radiation. So and that shit has a long, what they call shelf life, man. All right. So there's people that's being born generation after generation with just the effects of these things. But nevertheless, you have a nuke go off or multiple nukes go off, you're going to have what they call a nuclear winter. So you ain't even got to be let's just say you ain't even in a country where there's a goddamn, let's say between America and Russia, right? Or fuck it. This is like how the scriptures tell you about how America going to be turned into the lake of fire, man. All right. And all that smoke go up into the atmosphere and circle around the globe, man. It's going to be devastating for everybody else that's on the globe, even if you ain't even over here, man. All right. So you're going to still feel the effects of it. All right. But nevertheless, it says, let me read this last one. It says, RT explains why direct military confrontation between the two countries would not help solve the conflict, but instead be likely a world-ending catastrophe. And again, we know this is how it's going to play out, because this is the end of Esau's world. This is how his world ends. All right, I wanted to jump down and read a couple different paragraphs in this. Like I said, this is a really, really long article, but I wanted to read some things. Salaki, give me a second. So we're going to get into this budget. Give me a second to find it. Oh, here we go, right here. It says, the Battle of the Titans. It says, in fact, all the strengths of Russia's army are offset by multiple other factors. The most obvious of which is the funding, all right? The U.S. military spends 17 times higher than that of Russia in raw dollars terms. Moreover, every year. So, I don't know if they tell you in this here article or not, but the number two, if America is the number one military as far as spending wise, how much they spend on their military, Russia is number two after them. You got Russia and China that comes after them. But if America is 17 times higher than them, like I keep saying in these things, you can look it up. It's the next 7 to 9 countries with that of China and Russia. And then the rest of them motherfuckers, America still spends way more money than them. All right. But ultimately, this is spreading them thin. All right, and for what? I mean, they ain't even got no money to advance their own military right now at this point in time. And we see with Russia, with spending a less dollar amount in their budget, they actually is outperforming them. All right, it says U.S. military spending is 17 times higher than that of Russia in raw dollars terms. Moreover, every year the U.S. spends more on defense, breaking records every time. In 2019 and 2021, the numbers were $685 billion, $738 billion, $741 billion, respectively. So they keep getting higher and higher and higher. But yet, the infrastructure and the way of living and everything else over here is going down the hill. We can't afford this, we can't afford that, but they can give everybody stimulus checks, man. All right, just think about we know that this is all set up for you to be in slavery anyway, but, in carnal terms, think about how much better of a life most Americans could have if they had the money to be just, like they say, we ain't got reparation money and this and that, or money to just be given, the average people to get them out of their little holes and their ruts. All right, but look how much they spend on this here military, but they being led to the king of terrors anyway, because all they doing is, advancing up on Russia's border, which is forcing Russia to advance their military to actually put it up on their ass, man. But we know that that's all according to the prophecies and everything else like that. But just looking at this in the carnal terms, like, what the hell is America doing, man? We'll get it in the scriptures, though. It says Russia has also increased its military budget over the recent years, but not on the same scale as the U.S. In 2019, Moscow spent 3 trillion rubles on defense, another 3 trillion. Now, this is in rubles, right? So it says in 2020 and 3.2 trillion in 2021, more than 40 billion. Let me see, 40.77 billion, 41.99 billion. And so, first of all, if you was to add all three of these numbers up, that's still less money than what America spent in like 2019, the first year. You see what I'm saying? Like, damn, you think they spending all this here money, and you ain't, all them years combined, you still ain't outspent America in just 1 year, right? It says, however, because of the ruble's volatility, the size of the Russian military budget and U.S. dollar equivalent has not increased and is, in fact, falling by about 200 million each year. In 2021, Russia's defense budget was only 43 billion. Only 43 billion. So, see, America's spending hundreds of billions, right? Whereas Russia's spending less. And guess who's getting the better weapons right about now? All right, they just released that S-550. All right, those hypersonic missiles, the goddamn stealth fighter jet. All right, they got all this new shit, and America can't get nothing on par. But America's spending, what did they say, 17 times more than them? All right, this shit is, hey, how long to them that laid it themselves with thick clay? Let me grab, trying to find this other paragraph. This is something else that, because, we talk about NATO and them all the time, but it says, he also reminded that the alliances should not be taken out of equation in that respect, because we know that Russia's going to be a guardian to these smaller nations. But this, talk about other nations. We don't normally talk about these nations. It says, the U.S. is part of NATO, a bloc of 30 countries. Russia, in turn, is one of just 7 members of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, others being Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Really, there's like basically Russia anyway. All right. America has allies outside of NATO. All right. So, again, we always talk about, NATO and the EU. But again, America has other allies that aren't a part of that as well. Like us, some of their Middle Eastern partners and things like that. That's not necessarily they're not in like NATO and shit like that. But they their own their own allies and things. I think it was one. Oh, it's the last paragraph in here. Give me 1 second to find it real quick. Like I said, it's a pretty long article. Oh, here we go up here. Right here. All right, it says, in theory, Russia could sink. Well, let me read the top. It says, in what way then could Russia threaten the U.S.? Because he's talking about this big military spending, right? But it says, in theory, Russia could sink carriers or strike American bases in Europe, the Middle East, or Asia with high precision, long-range conventional arms. Because America really ain't got all that, you know what I'm saying? And they not really spending their money. I don't know what the hell they spending their money on. But, trying to get these other people in their treaties, but they're not advancing their weaponry like how Russia is. He says he also believes that in a hypothetical conflict, Washington is unlikely to view such losses as unacceptable. The enemy retaliation would be much more destructive, even in the case of reciprocal response, annihilating Russia. So that's some bullshit, because that's not the doctrine that America goes after. America has that I can't think of the name of their doctrine, but they go off a preemptive strike. They not really worried about this. Why they not really developing a missile defense systems and shit like that? Because they just plan on pressing the button and just say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? They don't really give a damn. Like, they're gonna have to just unload their whole arsenal, and they're not in putting their money into, how do I say, missile defenses or protecting themselves. All right, but it says. And as you understand how they actually fighting, America and NATO is surrounding Russia, trying to just bombard them, whereas Russia is have the capabilities of defending themselves and shooting off. All right. So it says the enemy retaliation, we just read that, annihilating Russian bases in Syria or sinking Russian ships outside of our territorial waters would be trivial task for the U.S. Navy and Air Force. Going back to conventional arms, striking American crucial infrastructure using non-nuclear weapons will not achieve any strategic goals, and the U.S. ability to respond is insurmountably bigger. It would also be short-sighted and unprofessional to hope that they wouldn't retaliate. All right, again, like I said, they're not going to be hoping and going off of these things, man. They're going to just let these bad boys fly. The nukes we talking about, all right? It says, all the arguments outlined above are often brought up by the Western media when talking about the potential conflict between Russia and NATO. However, this is only true if we consider conventional arms, which exclude weapons of mass destruction. This is the point. This is what the Most High's weapons of his indignation is for. To do what? To destroy the land of Babylon, man. All right, weapons of mass destruction is what is being prepared for the day of the Lord, man. All right. It says, and it's Russian nuclear capabilities that make it the world's second military power. According to the SIPRI, Moscow has 6,255 nuclear warheads, while the U.S. has 550,000. Needless to say, now, these are the so-called documented numbers that they have, and the reason they have these documented numbers, because they have a nuclear, nuclear proliferation or whatever act that they signed years ago, right, saying that they would not develop any more nuclear warheads, and this was a long-ass time ago. And now, you can believe that shit if you want to believe that shit, you know what I'm saying? Hey, these motherfuckers, they making all these delivery systems and shit like that, the missiles to carry all these shits, like, they ain't gonna have the warheads to make it as well. And really, these are the only two people that actually have the technology to actually make these warheads, and we know that, hey, ultimately, the Lord is going to use these weapons to destroy the whole land of Babylon, all right? So, hey, needless to say, this is where this here technology come from, because, they would tell you that they got these numbers basically come from Adolf Hitler in World War II. They plundered all of that, got the scientists, what's his name? Wernher von Braun. That was the dude who came out with the actual the V1 and V2, the rockets, the actual propulsion system. But Oppenheimer and Einstein and them niggas and shit came out with the damn nuclear bomb. But again, they got this from them German scientists and stuff like that, right? But nevertheless, and they was building up to a certain point in time. Then once they started getting into those, was just like atomic and hydrogen bombs, right? But then once they started developing these thermonuclear bombs, that's when they was like, oh, we can't even test no more. They only got a couple tests of those things. But nevertheless, for you to think that they ain't got more missiles than this, you got to be out your goddamn mind. It says, needless to say, Russian warheads are many times more destructive than Little Boy and Fat Man, which were detonated over Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the final weeks of World War II. All right, again, they're not even really talking about these thermonuclear missiles. Like, when we talk about a Fat Man and Little Boy, whatever the fuck they call them, they're not the same type of missiles, man. All right, that's like you saying, like, all right, well, we got a damn M80 firework versus a real bomb that the military got. Like, yeah, you can blow up a ant pile or a shoebox with a firecracker, but man, this goddamn bomb that they finna drop can destroy a whole plaza. That's like the comparison between these old, what you would call nuclear bombs, and what they got now, these thermonuclear missiles, man. All right, and they got them in, like, if you can look at what they call pocket nukes, dirty bombs and shit, they can put them in the size of fucking suitcases and shit like that, man. All right, they even have a what they call it? It's a different type of nuclear bomb that they have now, where it's like It's really small, really precise, and it don't really leave traces of radiation and shit like that. But it has the same like destructive force behind it, man. All right. It says, needless to say, the Russian warheads are many times more destructive than Little Boy and Fat Man, which were detonated over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hypothetical conflict scenarios spell swift defeat to Russia. Again, if they can get the missiles over there, because Russia got the shit to knock them all out the sky. It says, according to this guy, any armed confrontation between the two powers could easily escalate to an exchange of nuclear strikes. That's the only way. First off, the U.S. wouldn't confront Russia alone. You know, they're going to bring in their allies and everything else like that. But, hey, like I said, man, we're going to just jump into the scriptures because I didn't want this to be that long. But, nevertheless, hey, man, this is going to be a day of mass death, man, and mass casualties, man. All right, and I'm going to just grab, you know, a couple different scriptures real quick, you know, to hit on some of the points we read in this here article. Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. All right, you know, his philosophies, his doctrines. Oh, we gotta go do this, we gotta go do that, make pacts like with NATO and shit like that, and have these people be spending up their budgets and everything else like that, and expanding. But ultimately, hey, you bring yourself to your own destruction. You don't even realize this shit, but that's what you're doing. Russia wasn't fucking with you. Russia didn't even have Russia was trying to pull their own self up by the bootstraps and worry about their own citizens. But then you put the pressure around them by surrounding them, man. All right. It says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, bro. You instead of having, you know, building your own infrastructure here in America and bringing all your military troops over here and not spending all this military budget, you spending year after year way more money than them. And look where it got you, man. They still got way more advanced weapons than you, and you spending every year like what I calculated more than 3 times. They didn't spend 40 billion. For the last 3 years or something like that. I'm like, well, that's what 120 billion, where they just spent 600 something billion 3 years ago. Like, bro, you still outspending them, and what did you get for it, man? You cannot compete with what they got going on right now, man. All right. And some stupid ass niggas out there say, you don't really know what America got. They're not gonna tell you what they really got. Hey, man, you right about that, but we know more than what the fuck y'all know, because who told us? The Most High told us, man. Like the scriptures say, prepare thyself and be a guard unto them. Russia gonna pretty much bring forth these weapons to destroy the whole land. So we know that Russia's gonna have the upper hand, man. So forget what these people are saying out there, but we see all these prophecies speaking. We can read up. Verse 3, for the visions yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. Russia gonna be in that position to take America off the face of the earth. All right, and that's just the end all be all, because that's what the Most High, we'll grab it next, actually. Let me go back to verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and his death cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, he's reigning over top of all these other nations and everything else like that, trying to build them up, but he's using them as basically his slaves to extract their resources and everything else like that. But what does it say? Shall not all these take up a proverb against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long to him that laid it himself with thick clay? And see, this is a problem that's going on behind the scenes, that, you know, a lot of these nations are turning down these American dollars, and they're building up something like the BRICS nations. They're trying to get off the SWIFT system with the petrodollar, because don't nobody really want these American dollars. You have to understand how they move and trade with what the hell the petrodollar is. You know, not going to go too far into all that, but if you understand about the petrodollar, these nations need that shit to be able to get oil, buy, sell, trade oil, all right, for their nations to benefit. But they're like, but bruh, and how it works is like, look, we need to buy some oil. We need, let's say, $50 million. Let's just keep it easy math, or $100 million, right? Keep it easy, right? All right, so we'll borrow real physical $100 million in greenback, American money, to make this here transition go through. Now, in order to pay America back that $100 million, America don't want them dollars back. America want $100 million worth of trade of your value, your goodies, your exports, because see, America don't produce nothing. So they're like, look, all right, so we need some, we need some imports. So how about y'all export us some, whatever, TVs, computer chips, iPhones, whatever the fuck it is. Y'all give us y'all goods, and we'll give y'all this falling dollar. But these nations, hell no, that shit ain't worth nothing no more, man. We normally sell these iPhones for $100, but with your devalued ass money, we got to give you 2 for 1, man. We losing out here, man. All right, so that's what's making them turn down that money, which is building up, rushing them in a whole nother sense. They would export natural gas now, making these Europeans, which are America's allies, look at them like that's actually benefiting us now. All right, we don't even really want to fuck with America no more, because they They got all this goddamn thick debt, this thick clay, this debt and everything, you know, all this massive military spending and budget. Now their dollars is being devalued, man. How long is, you know, just like with the Roman Empire, they didn't spread themselves so thin. All right, they had to devalue their little fucking gold coins, and it was all fake. Ain't nobody want that shit no more, man. All right, same thing going on today. All right, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long in him that ladeth himself with thick clay, that thick debt? All right. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booty unto them? Because you've been spoiling them for so long. Let me read the next verse. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein. You know, like, shit, the last 20 years, America been bombarding the hell out of Afghanistan and Iraq, right? You know, them people over in Iraq, man, they was selling their own oil that was coming up in Libya and shit like that. Them niggas gonna be mad. They're like, yo, y'all done bombed the hell out of us and deprived us of a life. We was eating off this here oil in Venezuela and shit like that. You know, them people over there starving because of America got sanctions on them. They can't even sell their own fucking oil that come out their own ground, motherfucker. You got people starving because they can't sell their own shit. What you think these niggas is gonna do to y'all? Oh, y'all didn't give a fuck about us. Well, we was out here starving and eating everybody else and eating all of this shit, and y'all didn't give a fuck about us, so fuck that. We gonna go over there and spoil y'all ass. We don't give a fuck about none of y'all. And you niggas out here in America living carelessly, y'all don't know what poverty is like. You niggas think you know what poverty is like, but you have no idea what poverty is like and what you've been doing to these other nations, man. These niggas hate y'all, man. What you think they gonna do when they come over here, man? They not gonna have no pity, no mercy. Hey, they about to just straight, man. We can go all day on this. There's multiple scriptures on that, but I quoted this scripture real quick. Let me get that. And Jeremiah, what is it, 18? Let me see. No. Well, okay, we can read that too. Hold on. I just want to get straight to the point. We'll read this and then we'll jump down. All right. Jeremiah 50 and 22. A sound of the battle is in the land and of great destruction. All right. World War III is what we talking about here, man. All right. Because ultimately, hey, this is the end all be all, man. All right. This is how you Americans, this is the icing on the cake, man. You're going to be finished. You getting destroyed right now. But ultimately, you're going to be wiped off the face of the earth, man. All right, you're gonna be buried in a nuclear ash pile over here. You're gonna be bathing in the goddamn nuclear winter. That's like the most I say. My sword shall be bathed in heaven, man. You're gonna be baptized in fire, like they like to say, in nuclear fire, thermonuclear fire, man. You're gonna be a part of this here land over here, man. All right. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation of nations? All right. And so, man, hang on. I'm gonna come back to that. Maybe it's 51 and 8 or 18. Oh, here we go. 51 and 11. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. All right, those missiles, man. All right, and the missile defense systems. All right, and also the missile defense systems, because they a defensive weapon, but they can be programmed, all right, to be an offensive weapon. All right, it says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. All right, for his device, these missiles, all right, is against Babylon, which is America, to do what? To destroy it. Why? Because it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. So we know who's going to come out on top, who's going to win. All right, we know what these missiles are being created for, to destroy this whole land. You know, people will say, oh, you don't know what all America got in their tech and everything. Man, fuck that. We know what the Most High plan is, man, and his word going to stand. His word is, hey, that's all we living off of, man. Man should not live off of bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord, man. All right, so we know what's popping, man. All right, let me get this other precepts. This is 51 and 28. Prepare against her the nations with the king of the Medes, them Russians, right? The captains thereof and all the rulers thereof and all the land of his dominion. See, he going back to that USSR state, man. All right, that Soviet state. It says, and the land shall tremble and sorrow for every purpose of Yahweh. What's the purpose of the Most High? To destroy this dirty whore, this place, man. All right, this filth, man. All right, the land shall tremble and sorrow for every purpose of Yahweh. Hey, and this is what you people got to understand, man. The Most High hates you fucking Americans, man. All right, he about to clean this whole fucking place. It ain't nothing righteous over here. Save the elect, man. Everything else over here is a goddamn abomination. That's why everything over here got to be destroyed, man. Save the elect, man, because Ain't no truth over here. Ain't no righteousness over here, man. Everything over here is tainted, man. Everything has got to go. It's a straight liquidation sale over here, man, and everything got to go. All right, it says, and the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon. To do what? To make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. What they call weapons of mass destruction, man. To destroy the whole fucking land, man. And everything in it, from coast to coast. The lake of fire, that's where you get that from, man. All right? Hey, but the Most High is not playing with you niggas over here, man. He done gave you time after... Hey, man, this place was created to be destroyed, man. We not... Man... A little bit to keep reading. It says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might have failed. They have become as women. They have burned her dwelling places, and her bars are broken. All right, these niggas is afraid because these niggas in the military, they know. Let me keep reading. It says, man, where's that precept? This ain't the precept. I mean, it's talk about it here, but there's another one. Let me keep reading. 31. And one post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and the passages are stopped, and the reeds have they burned with fire, and the men of war were affrighted. All right, let's talk about the men of war being affrighted. All right, let me see. We got to go back. Well, this is it right here anyway. So we're going to read all the way down where we was just reading. All right, we'll close out with this. Because, there's just another precept I want to grab real quick. We'll come back to this real quick. Jeremiah 50. Because this is a quick precept. Hey, but you people have no idea. 2nd Ezra 16 and... 33. Right? 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. And the virgins shall mourn having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. All right? Because all these niggas over here, save the elect, they finna get drafted over here into this big meat grinder. Multitudes in the valley of decisions, man. World War III, man. The great meat grinder, man. Hey, this was about to happen over. It's gonna be straight mass death, man. All right? It says, in the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. These niggas is finna be done over there, man. Let's grab that real quick in the book of Joel. What is it? Joel 3. We're going to skip a little bit and just get into the point. Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Verse 14. Verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decisions. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decisions. All right, so hey, man. Hey, multitudes, they about to be straight slaughtered over here, man. Like I said, they're gonna be buried in the sands of time over there, man. All right, they're gonna be a part of the land. All right, so let's just go back. We'll close out with this, like I said, in Jeremiah 50. Well, let's go to 22. Jeremiah 50 and 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Through those thermonuclear missiles being shot off by Russia and the rest of these nations, and this was all ordained by the Most High, because this is his plan, his will. All right? It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. And these niggas don't even realize they in the fucking trick basket, man. Spending all this goddamn money to advance your military, and the niggas that's spending nowhere near as much as you got way more advanced arsenal than your ass, and they finna win. They gonna wipe your shit off the face of the earth, man. All right. It says, verse 25, Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahweh, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldees. So ain't no nukes. So you just trying to say the Most High ain't strapped like that, man? Hey, man, these ain't the white man's tools, man. This is the Most High's tools, man. To bring a destruction to Esau Edom, man. All right, to lay his whole shit waste, man. All right. It says, come against her from the utmost borders. Oh, again, intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. From thence she shall be taken. Super long range ass missiles, man. Super long range ass weaponry, man. What the hell you... But you niggas is asleep. Y'all have no idea about what kind of shit that they got out here right about now, man. They over there in Russia from one end of the planet. You realize when you look at a map, like if you look at a globe, right? You know, you cut a globe in half. If you go over to Alaska, you take a round globe and you cut it in half right there at Alaska, right? And flatten it out into a 2D map, right? Russia's at one far end of the globe and America's at the other far end of the globe, right? So from one, you know, and we know, you know, they're not going to necessarily shoot it across the water like how you would think it is. You know, they actually go into space and come back down. But shit, they can shoot nukes over the North Pole, all right, which would be the shortest way of going. But they can also shoot them, you know, from how you would say, not to say east to west, I don't know which direction it is, where it'll come, you know, on the west coast of America, that from that way, because, you know, Russia, again, they only, I believe, probably less than 90 miles from one another, from the Alaskan tip, you know, to Russia. They pretty much the closest thing to one another. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, this is how we know what the scriptures is talking about, man. All right? It says, come against her from the utmost border and open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps and destroy her utterly. Weapons of mass destruction. Let nothing of her be left. All right, except for dust and the pile of smoke, man. It's going to go forever and ever. And say, slay all her bullocks and let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them. For their day is come, the time of her visitation. This fucking virgin ain't never been touched over here. But when she get touched, man, they finna run a goddamn straight slaughter train on this bitch, man. She finna get ran through by 200 million missiles on this motherfucker, man. Just blow her whole shit out, man. This, man. It say, verse 28, the voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahweh our power, the vengeance of of his temple. Call together the archers. What did the archers do? Archers are people, or they got a bow and arrow, right? They not shooting bow and arrows now. Matter of fact, nowadays, niggas ain't even using bow and arrows in regular fucking war. If you could show up on the battlefield with a bow and arrow and a nigga hit you with a goddamn pistol, your shit is through, man. And let alone, you not finna shoot no goddamn bow and arrow over the ocean to hit another. Even if you do shoot an arrow, bro, get up on top of a building and shoot an arrow at the ground and see how much land you destroy with that shit, man. What's the modern day long range? What's the bow and arrow? It's a long range weapon, right? So what's the modern day long range weapon? These missiles, man. All right. So it says, call together the archers against who? Babylon, which is America. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Hey, the only way out is through Yahweh shot in them chariots, man. If you ain't part of that elect, man, your ass is a goddamn sacrifice over here, man. All right. Recompense her according to her works, according to all that she have done, do unto her, for she have been proud against Yahweh, proud against the Holy One of Israel. Hey, so in going into a more carnal sense, look at what America done to these other nations. The rape, robbery, and murder, and the plunder of these other nations, just bombing the shit out of people, man. They've been bombing the Middle East for the last 20 years straight. Just bombing the hell. Oh, they all just terrorists, bombing the hell out of them, man. Look what you did to Japan. Japan ain't forgot about that shit, man. All right, look at what you did. You done made Russia collapse with the fucking Cold War and Gorbachev and all that shit. You done left them niggas to be the third world country. They ain't forgot about that shit, man. All right, the goddamn opioid wars you done had against China and all that. They ain't forgot about that shit, man. All right, all the shit that you done did to these nations and put them in captivity. Hey, man, they waiting for your, all right, this nigga getting weak. This nigga over here drunk. As soon as this nigga pass out, we finna run this nigga pockets, man. Fuck that nigga, man. All right. It says, therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Yahweh. Hey, man, if you in the military, just know your ass is never coming back over here, man. Once they ship your ass out over there, you're going to be part of the sands of time in the Middle fucking East, man. That's just, it is what it is. You're not coming back. What you going to come back to anyway? A fucking nuclear a pile of ash? And if you over here on this side, your ass is going to be nuked. All right? So, hey, however you want it, the Most High got your number, man. All right? It says, behold, I am against thee, thou most proud, saith Yahweh of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up, and I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him, man. Hey, just think about that. Look at these movies and shit like that. New York City and all that the concrete and all that shit. Terminator 2, Sarah's Dream, man. All that shit finna be that sweat with that Bessemer destruction, man. All that shit just finna be turned to dust and the smell. Everything, look, go outside and look around. Everything that you see, everything you cherish, everything you like, you desire, everything you look, all that shit is about to be missile food, man. All that shit is about to melt, man, with fervent fucking heat, man. All that shit is about to go up as a goddamn vapor, a smell, bro. That shit just, boy. 'Cause, 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 Let me jump down because I wanted to read this and we'll close out. Where is it? Verse 40. It says, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith Yahweh, so no man abideth there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, Russia, a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. All right, and they shall hold the bow and the lance, and they are cruel. They will show no mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. Talking about the missiles, all right, coming from Russia, all right. It says, the king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands are waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as a woman in travail. So, hey, man, they already know. These top generals and shit know that they working, hey, let's get a hypersonic missile. Man, Russia already got the goddamn silencer to your hypersonic missile if you ever get it developed, all right. Your goddamn F-35, if you ever get that motherfucker to work like it's supposed to work, they got an S-400 for that. And that's the S-400 the old shit, man. They got some way new shit, man. All right, what the hell are you gonna do against them, man? All right, so it's gonna be mass death, man. We're gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord, when this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Hashem Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us his truth never will. And citation much love for you. I can push in his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.